Hello and welcome to the next edition of Portal, a doorway that brings you to the latest happenings in the world of technology, leadership and business. We are very excited today to honor our esteemed guest. We have with us Mr. Debashish Singh. Thank you, Mr. Debashish, for gracing this occasion. To talk a brief about Mr. Debashish, he comes with a great set of accolades. Well, currently he's the Chief Information Officer and Senior Corporate Vice President at Persistent Systems, where he leads the ID strategy and operations. Well, he comes with over 30 years of experience in digital transformation, cloud and AI. Mr. Debashish has guided global teams, earned multiple industry awards and also shaped secure data-driven enterprise ecosystems. We're going to talk a lot about that with his rich experience. But before Persistent, again, he held very senior leadership roles at organizations like Mphasis, Mahindra Satyam, CSS Corp, Microland, Zenith Computers. He is an electronics and telecom engineering graduate from Utkal University and also a global CIO program alumnus at ISP. So with that, I'm sure we look forward to a great conversation where we can absorb like a sponge with his expertise. Welcome, sir, to this podcast. Really thank you for this opportunity.
Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Looking forward for a great dialogue over the period.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, let's get started. Today is the world of AI. Today is the world of digital transformation. And I know, Mr. Debashish, we have learners across, right from people who are starting their career to mid-career professionals, So we'd like to tap into your wisdom and understand when we talk about AI and implementation, right from a day-to-day to what an enterprise actually adopts. If you could share some examples, where we can get that perspective.
Let me start with something which is very, very day-to-day to every one of us, and many a time you don't realize how much AI has got into our life, part of our daily life. Let me give you some example which will possibly make it very, very simplified for everyone. Let's talk about an example of an individual going to a particular shop, buying certain things on a particular date, maybe a weekly, monthly, whatever frequency, and over period what happens? The person reaches to the shop, the shopkeeper knows, Mr. Customer, you have come, this is what you bought last time, I am ready with it. And that is what was happening with the human intelligence, because over period that data or that information was getting processed by the shopkeeper, knowing this is the pattern and delivering the services, trying to personalize, make you feel good. When we bring the artificial intelligence in place of human intelligence there, and with the source of data, whatever was getting processed on by the shopkeeper, that was very, very limited. What changed in the AI world is you do not have those limitations. While it does surrounding, which is typically the example we spoke about, it has the ability to correlate the information and data beyond that particular transaction and relate that with your geography, your age group, your pattern of spending, and of course all the person around. While it personalized and give you the services or recommendation, it also give you a lot of inputs, and that is how you start kind of consuming the services, feeling great about it. So what is doing, if you double click on that, it uses the information available, that is what we call data, correlate that on the fly and give you a very, very personalized experience. And all this thing happens within the boundary wall of defined business rules. And that is what AI is all about. And in today's time, if you just zoom out, think about any transaction that you do, be it e-com, be it whatever you spend your time and money for consuming services, they have all the information. It is no more one individual processing it. It is the machine which is processing the data, giving you the service at a fractional time, you don't realize that, and making you feel great about it. Hey, this system knows me. They giving me services which is aligned to me. It is not something which possibly I have to ask for it. And that is what the power of AI. Now let's zoom out and bring the similar example, how enterprises are dealing with it, how it works on the enterprise side. Talk about any enterprise. If you are a manufacturing, you are providing a service or a product or selling a product to your consumer, you would definitely like to have the best solution at the least possible time so that your customer is happy, and thereby giving you the opportunity to address a larger customer base, and thereby of course increase your revenue growth, profitability,
Scale,
and
yeah.
get the scale, right? And that is something AI is enabling in the back end, right? It has that ability to correlate things, process those data points very, very fast, and of course give the right output, which you can just double click and move ahead. And that is what AI's power is. And if you look at any industry for that matter, be it financial, banking, be it insurance, be it life science, healthcare, manufacturing, services, any industry you double click, you will realize a sizable amount of data processing is happening in the back end for giving that intelligence so that you quickly take those decisions and move ahead. And that is what AI is enabling. It is definitely helping as a co-pilot. It is not driving anything on its own. It is enabling you to take the right decision at a very, very fast pace so that you can achieve your target at a shorter time frame.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for that insight. Extending to what you said, Mr. Debashish, as I'm sure you have a very much more wider view as the role for CIO. If you could touch upon what are the functions across which are seeing immediate productivity gains? What do you see from a business and technology perspective happening at scale? What do you see at which are still in the early stages? And tech is now becoming horizontal, right? Absolutely. Everybody needs to understand or adopt this tech. So even from the business functions, where do you see maximum productivity gains? If you could touch on that.
Sure. It's a great point, and I will give you two different contexts here. One is internal within the organization, how we see the changes that we are seeing it. And second, at the industry, the customers that we are serving, the industry that we interact with, what are the trends we are seeing it. So let's talk about the first part. So if you look at typical enterprises, any organization for that matter, there are 2 to 3 larger processes that runs the organization. One, we call it hire to retire. That means you have a recruitment engine, which is a team, drives selecting the right resources, getting them onboarded after the interviews and selection process, post onboarding, get them into the required amount of skill training, whatever required, put them into the operations or whatever the work, and of course till the time retirement happens. So in this process, think about all the touch points, starting from your candidate to your onboarding or a selection process, then onboarding, then training or bringing them to the speed for the environment, whatever you need to kind of deliver services, then of course the life cycle beyond that. All these touch points were definitely certain point you to say this were all possibly hurdles which was kind of not giving you the speed on which you want to run. Because things were happening manually, right? There was people sitting screening profiles. There are people shortlisting candidates based on certain skill set. There were interviews happening tier 1 or level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on and so forth. Then of course onboarding, entering huge amount of data, and so on and so forth. All these points today happens completely automated or kind of, I will say, enabled by AI engines running in the back and giving you the speed, because you do not really want to those repetitive tasks which are very, very business rule defined. When I'm hiring a resource, I know what skill set I need. I know what kind of people should be coming in, and when the onboarding happens, I know these are the set of documents, there's a set of information that is required to be filled in. Why somebody has to fill it manually? The documents are available. Just link it, scan it, OCR it, take it into the system, and do a reconfirmation. That is what validation is required. It is not replacing the entire process, but it is reducing from hours to seconds. Right? So this is how it is happening. And and during the process, suppose I'm inside the organization, I have a time sheet to fill in every day, I have a leave application to apply, or I have some documentation requirement. Earlier I was reaching out to help desk maybe by picking up the phone, talking to them, or sending an email, or going to a portal, putting a request, and so on and so forth. Today that is gone. That is the type of past. Today any organization you go, I'm sure you will find a much intuitive mechanism to engage, like your typically the chat engines. You go and just interact, or maybe speak to the chat engine saying, hey, I need my time sheet to be filled in, or I need a travel request to be created. And that is how it interacts with you, just the way we do it at home, Alexa or a Google or a Siri, whatever. Exactly similar thing coming into enterprise as well. You just interact saying, hey, this is what it is, and it is done. Or it tells you recommendation, hey, you are taking a vacation on this particular date, should I recommend you to move it by 2 days because you have a holiday coming in? Maybe you'll get a longer duration, right? It gets into those personalization part of it. It also tells you, hey, look, you are applying there, but your manager is leave them that particular day. Do you want to revalidate that, or check with your manager that you are going on vacation same time as your manager, right? So that intelligence is coming to you, a part of the process itself. And that is how you are improving the entire efficiency and the experience. And that is what the AI is playing the game. That is from the internal side. Now double click on the typical business side of it, how the industry is looking at it, right? Let's talk banking, very, very simple one. I'm probably don't realize or remember when I last visited the bank, right? It's not online banking. Banking, you do, of course, the certain transaction, but you do a lot of transaction with bank or similar agencies or the enterprises, which is probably managing your portfolios, investment, insurance, and so on and so forth. There are fintechs is completely kind of challenging the traditional way there, and probably giving you at your fingertips, think this is what your data is, this is how people at your persona, at your level in the industry or outside doing it. Do you want to replicate that? Right? So bringing that intelligence and throwing in front of you, and that is precisely what we see in the fintech world or in the BFSI world, where the fintechs are challenging age-old, traditional, well-established, large enterprise banks, right? And that is something is very interesting to see, right? You have a newborn coming, maybe a 6 months, 1 year, 2 year old, challenging a 100-year-old well-established engine, right? But that is what the power of AI, that is what the power of intelligence, that is the power of data. And that is how they are leveraging. And that is something you will find it every single enterprise, every single industry for that matter, like life science, healthcare. There are a lot of debates going on that, but if you look at ground reality across the globe, the availability of quality healthcare is a challenge that we all know about it, right? It is expensive and it is not available in many countries as we speak. But with AI coming in, how it is helping? It is ensuring that those doctors who are willing and good are able to probably deliver their services at a much shorter time, thereby creating additional time for themselves and remotely helping to the larger community. Right? So there are a lot of changes happening there. I think imagination is the possibly, yes, absolutely, to you to think about it, to what extent you can stretch and go beyond, and that is what is going to drive your business.
Which is what we say, art of possibility.
Art of possibility.
That is
absolutely
very important. So just to kind of end, on the first point that we mentioned, what do you see typically for businesses, the overall AI roadmap next 2-3 years, at a high level, where do they see?
So today, if you look at, while there are a lot of debates, lot of questions, and there are data available, certain AI initiatives are failing, whatever, if you look at, people are doing it for the sake of doing it, or they're trying it, experimenting it, trying to get that confidence.
Fear of missing out.
It is a kind of FOMO, I can say as well. So it is more on that context. others are doing it, I should be doing something as well. I want to showcase to my management, my leadership,
That I look
I'm
good.
also doing something good, right? So that is the context people are doing
Right.
it. That need to be removed completely, because yes, that was required at certain time when tech was not matured. But today, as we see, it has come to a very, very mature state. Yes, I know someone said that, can I put a fine print down below saying AI generated, kind of take it at your own risk or whatever. Yes, you cannot, but think about the similar situation on a traditional approach. There were enough and more mistakes happens by human as well. And we are okay with that. We are absolutely fine with that. So AI also possibly might make some mistakes, but that is not something is going to stop. Just think about what is the advantage and the probably edge it is bringing to the overall processes, overall organization, overall business scenario. If it is solving my 99.999%, that 0.0001% should not be a deterrent for me to jump into it and bringing to the mainstream. Because whatever has happened so far, people always tried playing around, running POCs and figuring it out whether it works or not. But if you look at certain industry for that matter, primarily services, tech and few other industries, where AI has become part of life. It has possibly, I can say, good anywhere between 30 to 60% depending on the maturity of the organization. AI is today driving the processes within this segment of businesses. So 30 to 60% is a sizable amount of automation.
That is growing, right?
And that is growing, right? And why it is happening? Because the biggest challenge for any AI to be successful is data. If your data is not stitched together, if you do not have a single source of truth, you do not have the ability to kind of look at data from different contexts. I mean, when AI started, obviously the contextual awareness was limited. Today it has matured to a large extent, right? So as long as my data component is completely taken care of and I have real good quality of data, which is sanitized, which is absolutely correct, I can run any engine on top of that to bring the intelligence out, and that intelligence driving the decision and thereby giving me the ability to move ahead at a speed which is much beyond whatever I can imagine in possibly few years back, right? That is what the change we are seeing it. And I'm sure in next couple of years, you will see this being adopted across the industries.
Excellent, excellent. Now moving on to, there is a lot of opportunity, but ultimately somebody has to build it.
Absolutely.
Right? Which is where we come to the point of workforce readiness, right, Mr. Debashish? With last 2 decades, it was the IT services who, by virtue of the nature of businesses, they gave employment to lakhs and lakhs of people, the ecosystem, build our economy. Now as we see things evolving into AI, what is your view on the current workforce readiness? How ready are they? What kind of gaps do you see? Do you see real danger there? Your thoughts on that, please.
It is a very interesting topic or context. And I feel myself to be the luckiest generation. Because when I started my career, putting your hand on a computer was, it was a dream. I mean, something, today I got an access to a PC, right?
That was, you had to leave your slippers to come in, like a temple, it was a temple.
Absolutely, yeah. They were different. I remember my engineering time when the instructor used to do it, and with 7 or 10 of us standing in the back and looking at it, right? That was what the time. From, I can say, zero adoption to way of life. You carry an extremely powerful computer in your hand, maybe multiple in today's time, every single individual. During this process, if you look at last 30 years, many trends has come, many transformation initiatives or technologies has come in, and it has really changed the way we used to drive things. What was common across all this transformation which has happened, if you look and just double click on that, the skill set requirement for every era was little different than the previous. Another context to that, probably go back 20 years, the skill set that I had is good enough for good 5-6 years. Go back 10 years, it was good for 2 to 3 years. Today, last 2 years, it is good for maybe a year.
Yeah.
Today we stand, maybe it is good for few quarters. So the frequency on which you need to adapt, unlearn and learn, that is completely changing. So how quickly you are able to align to the new techs, new way of running things, that is going to decide how successful you will be in your career.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
So doesn't matter I have got experience of 20 years, 10 years or 1 year or 0 year. What matters is how quickly I can adapt to the new tech. That's one part of it.
Right.
And good humans are adaptable to new things and they will definitely learn.
Right.
But another critical component comes in is, if you look at India's entire IT outsourcing business, the industry, that was based on pure coding outsourcing to India.
That's right.
Because of low cost. Subsequently, low cost has moved to skilled labor. We have got the best skilled people in the world, and that is why this is probably one of the biggest growing industry for India. Will that be the same way? Answer is no. It is not going to be the same way. That is very, very clearly visible. The indicators are coming in that way. What is going to happen there is, am I doing only coding, or I understand the business problem that I am solving? Because good 30 to 40% of my code is taken care by AI engines.
Right.
So
The
hence,
co-pilots, yeah.
Absolutely, the co-pilots of the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
So hence, how much I have the ability to really understand the larger business problem,
Right.
draw the solution out of it and work towards achieving the solution rather than doing a component inside it. That will decide whether I am successful or not. So hence, there is a skill set shift from a traditional coding to business problem solving.
Sure.
So business problem solving will become a huge, huge skill set requirement for future. That is number one. While you do that, how easily or how good you are in terms of adapting to the new environment, right? How quickly you are able to kind of learn to use different resources, because the LLMs are changing every quarter, if not every month. So today, whatever the LLM I'm comfortable with, maybe after 1 month something better has come in. How quickly I'm able to shift to that and use that resource for problem solving in my domain, my world. That is what is going to decide how successful I will be. So I think the skill set requirement to change the way we used to look at learning to the way it is going to be is this. These are the few drivers. As long as we align to problem solving, ability to unlearn and learn, looking at new things, challenging the status quo, things is great. That's the way to see it.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Very insightful. So if, let's say there are a lot of, people watching this podcast, take an example of somebody who's just gotten a job, maybe into an IT role, let's take that one, or somebody has been there with 7 to 8 years of experience. Now, like you said, we need to get more holistic in terms of business problem solving, be more agile. If you take the early career professionals itself, what do you think, more from a very specific point of view, or some examples of how you have seen, how should people prepare themselves, right? So I need to be ready for this. What all should I do on a daily basis or on a regular basis? We are from a learning organization. We remember that, there are calendar programs, and back in the days, a decade back, it is the organizations which were, saying that this is the skill path. At your appraisal, we say these are the set of courses which you need to finish. It was more driven, it was more of a push, right? But now, of course, it also has to be a pull. But from what you have seen about youngsters and even mid-career professionals who have been very quick to adapt, certain practices or ways of working, ways of learning that you have seen will really make them, keep them relevant, if you could share that.
Absolutely. And is a very, very critical component for the people who are already into the different part of their career journey. What is the biggest change that is coming in is trying to kind of find solution with the resources that we have. Gone those days, people used to say, hey, this is something which is defined by business and I am delivering that. Because I was asked to do, I am
order
doing
taker,
it.
more of order taker.
Absolutely. Gone those days. So it is not you are asked to do and hence you
Yeah,
are doing
yeah.
it. So you need to start understanding domain, right? So when you talk about domain, let's talk about what are the typical domains in any enterprise, any business for that matter. You have one, people domain, which is the life cycle of hire to retire, which is the human side of it.
That's right.
You have one, procure to pay, which is essentially the finance life cycle.
That's right.
Whatever any enterprise does, from the procurement of resources, devices, equipments, raw materials,
Services, yeah.
services, whatever you procure, then you process it, and of course you pay to them, right? Then the third component, again on the finance side, is order to cash. I'm definitely doing business, so there will be people, my customers coming in, placing order on me, and of course, till the time I deliver services to them, then raising an invoice, getting the money to my bank. These are the primarily three large processes which runs any organization.
Right.
Manufacturing, services, banking, anything we talk about will stitch inside that, right? Anything comes inside it. So while tech, for that matter, was always sitting on the side and looking at the process and saying, okay, this component I can do it, this component I can do it. Oh, this is something, no, this is not mine. Let business define it, then I will jump into it.
Correct.
That is not going to happen anymore.
Let me get the right requirements. It's his problem, not my problem.
Exactly. So what is happening now is, with AI engines coming in, if a business guy start understanding how to use the AI engine, he or she doesn't need the tech team anymore. Right? I just go interact with an engine saying, hey, look, this is what my business problem, this is what my surroundings are, this is what my environment is, these are my data points, give me a solution which will solve my problem. Think about it. If that is what starts happening, then IT is not there in the organization anymore.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. There will be other challenges going to come in. We'll talk about that some other day. But when this starts happening, what is the skill the team which was sitting in the fence and looking at it in the past need to learn? Is understanding the business. So it is no more alignment between tech and business. It is alignment of business with tech. It's the other way.
It's the other way.
So you are no more a tech team, you become part of the business team. So I think this is something I must say. If you look at the typical people we hire chartered accountants, part of IT team.
Really? What?
Part of IT team. We hire chartered accountants. We hired HR MBAs, MBAs in human resource. We hire people who understand that domain and has a nudge towards playing with tech. Because coding is not the skill to look forward. What I said, business problem solving is the skill. And if you do not understand what is the business priorities, you can't understand the problem, and thereby you can't solve it. So hence, you need to have that skill within yourself. So start looking at that. Obviously, there will be kind of different complementing skills coming together, but understanding the larger business challenges, that is one key component. Second, how you can collaborate within the environment. There are different priorities for different teams. How you are able to collaborate for the larger goal of the organization. And that is what is going to decide how quickly you are able to, without giving the answer, this is not my problem, jump into the problem, solve it, and show value. The value comes only when you deliver something which nobody expected. If you deliver what is expected, you are just doing what was told to you. You are order taker. So that is the shift that we are seeing it has come in with AI engines being part of our life today. And that is where every single individual need to rethink. And particularly guys with some experience, part of their career path, be it 2 years, be it 10 years or 20 years, need to change. And that is the biggest differentiator between a successful person to a person trying to grapple with the changed environment around. That's the way I will put it.
So which means a lot of entrepreneurial kind of a thinking, right?
Absolutely.
No longer that it is ultimately, they say, right, it is business which brings money to the table.
Absolutely.
Technology is just an enabler. So you'll have to think business. Everybody has to wear that hat. Of course, that also brings us to a separate set of skills. We'll come to that. But moving on is one, they say that, there is a lot of momentum, yes, but there is something which is visible and there is something which is not, which is what we call the hidden risk, right? With all this, tech happening, on the other side, tech can be used in a positive side.
Absolutely.
Tech, also is used on the other side, right? Where they also now magnify. Somebody who is going to hack your system is also going to magnify his effort. So from the security, cyber security, the kind of, because AI is here today, right? It's right there before us. So what do you see at the C-suite level, the kind of conversations on cyber security, or how organizations are viewing that and getting ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you look at this change started, I can say possibly good 4 to 5 years back. People started realizing the risk to business because of cyber threats, right? And what was the driver for that change is every single business getting transition or transformed to a digital business, and that is what pandemic primarily kind of drove that component. So with a digital business being the a key or way of delivering services, what are the change happened from the traditional way? It is no more those 4 walls, brick and mortar, you are inside it and you put a firewall and you are happy about it. Everything is secured. That is no more the real world.
You have that security patch, that's it, you're ready.
Absolutely. So that is no more the reality today. So your resources that you are consuming, they are in somewhere in the cloud. You even do not know which part of the world you are consuming those services many a time. The data that you are generating or you are consuming, they are stored in every different geography. So you are consuming the resources. At the same time, your colleagues, your other kind of stakeholders are consuming similar resources from across the globe, because every single company is a global company at the moment. So if that happens, the perimeter has disappeared. So that essentially means you don't have those so-called boundary walls anymore. So your risk possibilities, that is what we generally say, has gone up. The probability has gone up.
And it's not linear, it's actually exponential.
It's absolutely, absolutely. So that is one part of it. Now comes AI on top of it. Because as you rightly said, AI is not used only for the positive side of it. Even the threat actors has got access to AI. So earlier, whatever they were doing it by manual analysis, trying to find a bug somewhere, kind of then create a hole and try to kind of compromise the environment. Now AI is able to do it with the extensive power of compute that is available in today's time, and the data which is floating around in the dark web. It is extremely easy to possibly get inside any enterprise compared to last 4, 5, 6 years, right? So in this context, when your threat landscape has completely changed, how you are aligning your possibly preparedness, your defense mechanism, your resilience, and of course the ability to respond and of course recover out of it. That becomes the way to, because today's time it is impossible to imagine that I will never get compromised. That is not the reality anymore.
It's just a question of not whether you will get, it's when you will get.
Or when you will come to know about
when
it.
you come to know, Many times it's happening but you're not even aware of it.
Even aware of it, right? So that is the reality today. So if that is the reality, then how we are at the C-suite are aligned to ensure this controls resiliency, ability to respond and recover. How good we are. Do you have a playbook? Does everybody knows how to react on a situation? Does your defense mechanism ensures every single component has at least 2 level, 3 level, so that you are making it a little difficult for a threat actor to penetrate, come inside, compromise you, so that you have the ability to detect your defense mechanism, whatever you have, that sets an alarm and you will possibly be able to kind of mitigate it or minimize it, whatever you do it. So that is a space which is completely changing today, right? So that is one way of looking at things, and how it is happening as the diverse playground, we can say the typical enterprise ecosystem. The amount of data that is coming in from all these sources, the log data, the observability data, whatever comes in, that is getting analyzed at real time. It was impossible in earlier era. It was very, very difficult, right? Amount of data, we're talking about terabytes of data. And that is what has to be analyzed on real time, not that post factor.
Correct.
Because post factor is damage is done. You will only come to know about it, this is why it happened.
Right.
That is good to know, but it is not stopping anything, right? So you need to do it, probably kind of arrest it before it actually becomes a big problem. And hence your ability to correlate things and get the intelligence very, very quick, on the fly, real time, and immediately take action to arrest or minimize.
Yeah.
That is what the strength of or a maturity of a cyber defense mechanism that any organization, any enterprise need to have it. And hence it is extremely critical for every single enterprise to have that ecosystem completely joined, completely transparent to some kind of engine which has the ability to correlate and give you that intelligence, and you have a team to react to that, respond to that, and of course arrest or minimize that.
Yeah.
And that is extremely critical. One is process side of it, second is your defense mechanism, and the entire, I can say, the playbook which you are defined to kind of work, that need to be revisited. One is defined, second revisited and tested every quarter, if not every month.
So there's a lot of focused teams who have to do that.
Yes. That is the way to say it.
Absolutely. So they say, right, with velocity, with what the velocity that technology can bring in, the security becomes the most important aspect.
Very,
I
very
mean, a bullet train, right?
Very,
now,
very true. Yeah.
I can reach fast, but at what expense, right? At what cost?
Very true. Absolutely.
That
absolutely.
is very important.
So we generally say the probability to impact and velocity. These are the three components. Joining together defines the criticality. So if it's very, very probable, impact is high, then the velocity is also high. This is the highest priority. I can't have anything beyond. So that's the way to see it.
Thank you for that. Really great insights on the entire, how the AI landscape is changing and how people need to upskill. On a closing note, Mr. Debashish, I would like to request you to really throw some insights on. You did speak about how it is going to be business which is going to drive right now, right? So which means the non-technical skills, right, of the way you look at problem solving, of the way you look at interfacing. What technology has done is also created a lot of isolated units, right? Work from home and online. It has reduced the interactions, correct? But with your experience, with the kind of a successful career growth that people are looking at, what do you think are the attributes, right? The professional, the leadership attributes that you would think that our learners should, the viewers should really take home and actually adopt, to become successful in their own path?
Absolutely. It's very, very simple. Just to summarize, there are two sides to the learning cycle. One is individually what every single individual need to do, and what the second part is what the enterprise or the organization that I'm working for needs to do. Because both has to come together to create that environment for becoming a successful individual, thereby successful organization. Right. So for the individuals, very clear, think beyond, move out of those box. This is not my problem. This is not what I was told to do. Get out of that thought process.
Complete ownership,
Whenever you are getting into it, think end to end. How you are able to bring that value for really solving a business problem rather than doing a task. So that is the first mindset, which we call entrepreneur mindset. So that is the first thing you have to do. So come out of the earlier era approach. This is my job responsibility. I delivered it. That doesn't work anymore. And that is where startups are different, and people love working in startups as long as you are agree to those challenges. But yes, that is where the change is. So do not look at anything in isolation. Look at holistically how you are able to derive or solve a business problem. That's the first thing. Second, to do that, how you are quickly able to unlearn and learn new things. Challenge yourself every single day. Think about it, what I have learned today. Never be happy, never be satisfied. Question everything around you. So that question yourself as well. So thereby you will start learning. You will unlearn whatever you have learned previously, learn something new, and apply that whatever you have learned possibly to solve the business problem. This is on the individual point of view at a broader level. From the organization point of view, start looking beyond the traditional approach of there has to be boundary walls to deliver things, there has to be approval process to get access to certain environments so that we can start working there or kind of using the resources and so on and so forth. Look beyond. Don't think about that AI is here to kill you. AI is going to here to complement you.
Yeah.
AI will be your co-pilot as long as you know how to run
Use it,
along
yeah.
with it, as long as you know how to use it. So create an ecosystem within the enterprise, how you are able to leverage, how you can enable every single employee, not only limited to the tech team, every single employee to use AI. So that should be your target, to bring everybody together so that whatever was happening in the past, taking maybe 10 years, you will be able to achieve in 1 year. And that is what the change we are getting into. It is visible, we are getting early signs as we speak. Come 2-3 years, if you don't adapt to this environment, believe me, it will be too late by then. So get into that, start embracing this change, and I'm sure there will be a different world in front of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. See AI as an opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Not as a
Absolutely,
threat, and
yeah.
which is, I guess, true with every technology. And I guess this is exciting time for all of us to be here to be part of that change.
Journey, yes.
It was a great, it was great listening to you, your thoughts. Thank you again for coming here, and I'm sure it was all the viewers of this podcast, they'll walk away with a lot of information, right, and a lot of wisdom from your experience. Thank you for that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. It was really great pleasure to interact with you. I'm sure I really enjoyed this interaction. Our viewer will possibly love it. They'll find something interesting out of it and some takeaway from there. So really, I'm feeling great. Thank you so much once again.
And that's the opportunity with experienced people coming here. That's what we cherish. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So, folks, I'm sure that was a great, learning for you. So, with this, we come to the end of this podcast. But stay tuned for a lot of other exciting updates that's happening on Portal. With that, thank you for watching, and see you later.